A collection of birds in Arthur Kayzakian's The Book of Redacted Paintings. Expo 1. I tore the first world out of this book. Do you see birds flying out of the holes in my song? Sonnet of my grandfather, after Terence Hayes. My name in Armenian used to mean priest. At the gate a guard raised his gun. Too many priests here. Forced to contort his name before Tehran, my grandfather changed it to electricity, bolted it across the border. Now my name means lightning. The gloom around the electrons of my name carry the charge of an empty chair, the volt of a girl who sketches a sky dead without birds. My grandfather held lost for his name. It is a story of a man whose name became a ghost, who tucked the bones of his last name in a duffel bag and shuffled his feet to freedom, his body an asylum for his missing name, which followed him like a phantom, longing for a tower of souls, all because he said lightning, his head a trumpet blowing out an anthem of sparks. Portrait of a tree as a mirror of the axe. 1977. When I was a tree, I was planted in the city and grown on the side of the road. I was susceptible to bird attacks, a heckle of feathers invading my leaves. My dreams were made of stones that spied on coyotes. Light was my signature until I became a fraud. I picked up forgery. I learned to mimic what is dead can save me from dying. If you treat us like money, we'll act like money. Before I was chopped into a coffin, I had a word with the axe. Of those who hold you now, were they not the ones who cut you down? There is no word for this name. My mother said, it looks like a stain from a bracelet around the wrist. A grapple phantom. A sort of hue that surfaces when one is pulled through the door. It is the astronomy of the hand best seen through cause and effect, Mother said. She was scientific about it, touching the solar system, pulsing around her eye. When I ask you to name it, you parade the garden with ghosts on your tongue, calling out to the prisoners who slipped through the fences, the part history leaves out. It used to mean sitting in the balcony, moon split in half. How this was a mirror planet, that half of the world that does not exist. You left that part out, didn't you? That you reside in the misplaced side of the moon. Fine, I believe you. You named it the residue of night falling on a garland of dark petals, steam rising from a black teacup, with your lips smudged on the rim on the last day you took a sip. Since you've been gone, I've tried to name every bird perched on the branches. I need to know what flies out of the holes in our lives. Vespers. I pray, I pray, I pray, till my sweet tastes of lime fire. Vespers. I pray, I pray, I pray, till my sweat tastes of lime fire, till I measure what I've done. By the groundswell of flies that pepper my meat, how we fall on a small earth. My heart, a fence of padlocks, a needle of God in my arm last night, even when it eats my brain, even when it eats my creed. I pray till my blood tastes of lime fire. I pray, I pray. Breadcrumbs, pigeons resting on the red tongue of my nightdress. In the green night I see you, grandfather, for this is how the dead blacken a piano. It rains as if heaven crashes. It rains. And in the cigarette, I savor my burning city. The verdict of the bird. When I rise out of bed, I am wet. Wet from the rain in my dreams. The painting in my dream was of a bird convicted of flying. I rise out of bed and take a shower, the scent of rain dripping off my skin. I start to feel sorry for the bird, for my past life, where I flew, over history and the shadow of my mother's voice. The jury smelled like anger, like candle wax grasping the air with guilt. The bird was sentenced to a life of singing by a sculpture because jealousy remains tenebrous no matter how beautiful we are. I try to avoid sleep. I fear the residue of paint will burn my palms and fingers. I fear my dream will rattle the windows with a bird-sized force. No matter how much I roll in bed, I will be pulled into a dream. The paint on my fingers will burn. I have been here before. My mother looking down at me yelling, and me looking down at the colors smeared on my hands.